Shady, yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Shady, what was your question?
Where did we want today? You want to discuss the data dictionary design, or do you want to discuss the workflow actions
I think we didn't finish the import from the SDC.
for data dictionary, right?
Yeah. No, I mean the SDC, the importing. We reached to the point where we select from a menu, a list menu, and um, another list for the parameters will appear, and user will have to import one or more parameter from the list.
Yes,
Okay, and then the auto mapping is the process is the next step.
that's correct.
Okay. Give me 1 minute. I have an update, just the progress of being of auto mapping for all three options.
Okay, let's review.
But okay, I can share it from my screen now that it's uploaded.
Yep, go ahead.
Uh, my laptop is freezing now. Mm, yeah, okay. Okay, here's my screen. So um, it's for the scenario of uploading attribute files, and of course it will apply for the other options. But the one for using the current template, I'm still configuring. But let's take this scenario and where the user uploading the BTL file. Once he pressed the upload file button, then he another uh, another screen will appear. This is in the same screen, but the loading process will show on the next screen, in the same screen after pressing the upload button. So this title will first um, be for the loading parameters, and next once the parameters are uploaded, the auto mapping process title will be in this place too. So
Can we,
yeah,
one thing, can we not call it config parameters, just call it parameters?
parameters. Okay, okay. So
You can even call it loading instance parameters, or just parameters, whatever you like, but not config, because it's going to be used more than the config.
okay, as long as we use it in the title. Um, this is the one I'm using it here.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. Let's get rid of config there.
yeah, okay. Just 1 second here. I have to shut down to close some application because it's freezing now. تقيل أوي في applications مفتوحة. Okay, Yuri. So, so this is the point for loading parameters. So, do you have any other points for this process?
Oh, this looks very good.
Okay. So, and once this the complete is done, user can see the table, the parameters here.
Very nice.
Okay. And let me write this down for the save or finish. I think it will be finished, but the thing is to make it more clear for the user to see that this pattern is different of the one we have for the whole package.
Right. You can even maybe instead of finish, submit could be another choice. Finish, submit.
But this action will load the user back to the template and mapping list.
That's correct.
So I think submit. I don't know. I think it's not clear that just submitting will turn him back to the list. But again, let me check. Okay. So I think we can go back to the data dictionary. Really?
Yep.
I think we can go back to the data dictionary.
Okay. Do you want to go to that screen, or do you want me to share?
Yes, sure, you can share it.
Okay, you know what?
Yeah, I remember the point we posed there that can we use it or can we make the grouping in the first step or just make it once he load the attributes?
So here, right?
Yeah.
So we have a new screen, bulk data dictionary load. Okay. We can say the user can provide the SDC model name or import file, right? So let me make this. These are two different options. So if he provides import model, he provides the file path, right? If he says SDC model name, then he selects the, he provides the actual SDC model instance, right?
Okay. But the other thing that you asked for to provide also the library instance name.
The library instance name.
Yeah, and this will be for the grouping.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me put that over here.
The point we're discussing that by selecting the library instance, this will make the group will apply for all attributes in this group. But in case of user change one of the attributes library instance,
Then he can do that outside of this flow.
sorry?
He'll if he wants to change one library instance, he can do that outside of this flow.
Of this what?
Of this flow, of the screen. He can do it in the instance screen. So if we go to the dictionary. right? If he wants to change an instance for one attribute, a library instance, he can go to that attribute and just change it.
But this will exclude him from the grouping. So now the grouping is just for creating multiple attributes at the same time. Each one of these attributes will be will have different editing setting. So I think the grouping here is just a concern to import multiple attributes only and just apply the same library instance, and a later user can edit them differently.
That's correct.
Mhm.
That's correct.
So this is a point where where user can edit the library instance. Can you go back, Yuri, for the screen, the last screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only editable point will be for the library instance. The other elements cannot be editable?
That is correct.
Okay.
All of this will be derived from the file.
Okay. We are keeping the edit mode? Editor?
Yes. Oh, this stays. This doesn't change, right? This is for instance. For instance, nothing changes. So this bulk mode is only for just the creation.
Okay.
So so I put the library instance, so I know what the group is that I need to apply for all my instances, and I put the SDC model name or import file, right? When I do that, all of that is loaded into this panel,
Yes.
okay? Then I need to be able to create like these different groups because some resources may have a unique set of capabilities, others may have a different set. So I need to be able to create group 1, group 2, group 3, and say here's a set of resources that have a common capability. Okay? And these
Yes.
capabilities are not like just source options, okay? They're not just source options. I want to say like this. Give me 1 second. They will be like predefined source options, and what I mean by that is something like this. 1 second. Mhm. Okay, so you see this JSON, right? You see
Yeah.
this is the parameter name, this is the data type, the description, entry schema, right?
Yeah.
Updated by. All of this is very common, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, and all of that will be derived from the input that we get. Now, the source options, you can see this is the definition of input, this is definition of default, right? This is a standard, okay?
Yeah.
Then we have something like SDNC, and this is, you can see in this definition, what changes is that this becomes like a dollar dictionary name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is what I'm trying to say. This definition here, right, SDNC is like a template. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I want to create a template. Even input and default, they're templates, right? And SDNC is a template. Okay, but this is not just SDNC. It's SDNC. Via. Let me tell you, this is SDNC VNF. Okay. There will be another SDNC VF module, that basically gets data from VF module level. Okay, so so what I'm trying to say, I'm gonna parameterize it because this you see here again, like this definition here is gonna be based on the dictionary name. So this is dictionary name, this is dictionary name, and that will be part of the template of SDN CVNF. This information doesn't change, it's constant. This doesn't change, it's constant. This doesn't change, it's constant. All the URLs are constant. Only the dictionary name here changes, and over here.
But this dictionary name, we are getting it from our dictionary name or the SDNC?
No, no, this is a template, okay? So this dictionary name, so what you're getting from the backend is the model itself. It's basically a empty model. It's not predefined. What I'm trying to say is that we will have a predefined template that will be able to create, populate the models based on some template. So let me show you as an example. Okay, so you can see we have a source rest, okay? This source rest, you see how everything is empty,
Yes.
okay? So this is what we get today from source rest. When you do it, creation from an instance, right? The user does the population here. What I'm saying is that we will have a template that will basically predefine everything, because SDNC is a type of source rest. And when the user drags and drops the capabilities, he's basically saying that I want the source rest of SDNC VNF that has a VNF URL definition. And the only thing that needs to be pre-populated is the dictionary contents. So, and all of that will be done by the backend itself.
But you are saying that the user will only need to add the dictionary name, but it just creating a new dictionary name, but or he loading it from another place. So
No, all he's doing is saying, like, for example, SDNC, let's call it BNF, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a source of rest, okay? And it's specific template, right? So when he moves it to, and here, for all these dictionaries, definition 1, 4, and 6, we will create a source rest of SDNC, and then
maybe can you go to the dictionary screen? We have an example of the sources we have. No, the next the one for the English.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we have in this editor that user can edit inside this line.
Right, but this is empty. This is empty. This is what you get right here.
This one is empty?
Yes.
But still this one is empty too.
This one is empty. Okay, so basically he says for my REST capability, what is my model? And then he populates that model, okay? The difference between this option here and the option I'm describing here is that in here, these are going to be based on the template, okay? So, and that template will already have a predefined definition of how to create a source of SDNC that is VNF level. Because
so user will come here and know what exactly he should do?
Yeah, he'll know what this template is, okay? This template is retrieving data from VNF level, okay? So, and that will be applied to 1.6, okay?
Mm-hmm.
This template is for Netbox, Okay, this template is for ANI, whatever, right? Because what you have today in this screen is generic
Yeah.
capabilities. That is REST, database, and input and default. Okay, it's not a specific template. What we are trying to do here is define a specific template.
So as we are adding some forms for the user, and he will fill it with the data.
No, he will not fill it with the data. What I'm trying to say is that when he says puts SDNC VNF here,
Mm-hmm.
the dictionary name is based on the resource name, right? So if resource name is 1, then the dictionary name will be replaced with 1.
Okay, so we are like merging the right things together, but and apply some function or maybe properties to this group, to the same group.
Right, so we're basically meshing the resource properties that we have with the template, right, to generate the correct, what do you call this, definition of what is an attribute. Okay, so that the user doesn't have to do that manually and type all of that information. Because if he has a VNF that's like, it has 1,000 attributes, right? He
Yeah.
needs to do this quickly. He doesn't want to keep defining this, So we need to do it with it using a template mechanism.
Mm-hmm. So
Even I can say in the create screen that we have here, right? So you'll have, let's say we have, these are like REST capabilities and whatever default and input. We can also add template capabilities here so that when the user populates the form on top, right, and he says, I want this specific template here, then we would pre-populate everything for him.
hello.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you hear what I said? Did that make sense?
No, I missed the last
Okay.
1 minute.
Even what I'm trying to say, even in this screen here, right? So right now you only have model definition of REST, MySQL, input default, right? So we can include the template definition here of SDNC VNF so that when the user drag and drops that capability, then all of that information is predefined for him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it makes just the process of creation of dictionary much faster.
Okay. So the list we have for the source options, these are predefined data for each one of the sources.
It's predefined, yes.
And yeah, okay, and we are just making I don't know, or I can't define it. Like we are creating a new template with some properties, and these are the one we are creating here.
Yes, correct.
Okay. This is the meaning of the data dictionary here.
Right.
Okay. So data input. What we have made for the creation was to now once the user selects the attributes, the whole attributes, he then creating a group, multiple groups from these attributes, or maybe one group, and each group has some a defined sources.
Right.
Okay.
And I want to say it's source templates, okay? It's better to say source templates. Source templates, yeah. Source templates, because it's not just source options. So source options is empty, right? These are source templates that are predefined. So I can have, let's say, SDNC Vienna. I can have SDNC maybe, VF module.
These are the source options, but the grouping is the source template.
The grouping here is based on resource and source templates. Yes.
I mean the one you mentioned that is a source template. This is the source options, and by creating the group, we are creating a template.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we need to change the naming of the source template here.
Okay.
So the grouping is about creating a template.
It's about creating okay, so let's say it like this. So you can see right now, this is a definition of an attribute, okay? Based on the group templates for each of the attributes, we will create this definition here,
Okay.
okay? And let's
Yeah.
say you have, here's definition of, let's say, SDNC, input, default. Give me 1 minute, let me close this. Input, default SDNC, I might have ANI. So all of this is for each attribute that I have in that group, I'm going to define, this is the JSON that I'm going to create, so I can load it into, the backend so that my creation of resources is expedited, because it takes too long right now based on the current design.
So this file includes multiple groups, right?
Right. So here you can see this is 1, this is 2, this is 3.
Yuri, for the library instance, I think we need to include it with the grouping, not when we import the attributes.
I'm okay with that. If you want to do it this way, that's fine.
So the user just selecting the list of attributes, and I mean the SDC file or the SDC name, and then showing the list of attributes, and by importing them, we will start creating the grouping and applying a library instance for each group.
Right,
And,
but do me a favor. Have an option to cascade for all groups, the library instance.
cascading for the library for the group.
Yeah. So for example, if I have 10 groups, right?
Yes.
I want to make sure that I have a way to cascade it across the 10 groups.
So is this cascading make a difference in the process?
No, no. Just basically, so the user doesn't have to enter the same group for 10 times. He can enter it one time and then say cascade it across the 10 groups.
Sorry, Yuri, can you repeat this?
Sure. What I'm trying to say, let's say you have 10 groups, right?
Okay.
10 groups. Instead of defining the library instance for each of the 10 groups 10 times, we would like to make sure the user defines it one time, right? As a global definition for all the 10 groups, so that he doesn't have to enter it 10 times or 20 times or 100 times, based on the group definition.
He just dropping a name for all groups, and we'll have, let's say it is the NC1, the NC2.
No. When I not hold on 1 second. So this is group 1. This is group 2, right?
Okay.
And so right now I would have to go and say this is mobility, okay? And then again I want to say this is mobility, right? So instead of, and I might have multiple of these groups, right? I might have group 3, 4, 5.
Can we use the same name for each group?
Yes. Yes. So what I'm trying to say is that I want the ability to cascade the library instances.
With these sources to be ahead of this other group.
Across the groups, yes, across all the groups.
So I can move between the groups and rearrange them.
No, 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 no. Hold on one second, one second. I don't mean like clone it. I don't mean clone. What I'm trying to say is that I want, if I create group one and group two,
Yes.
is there a way we can say this for this entire, bulk load? I want the library instance to be mobility.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so it's like a global definition of the library group. And then if he doesn't want it, then you can allow him to go into the group and select, some other option, right, from a drop down.
Another option for the library instance.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So you are asking for to make it editable to change the library instance.
Yes, you can change it. I mean, it should be a drop down because if you look at our current UI definition, right?
Yeah.
We allow AT&T Open Config Mobility VoIP. There will be multiple group options, so you should be able to select which one to select from.
Okay. So for this specific part of the differentiate between the groups in the list, now we have the creation. This creation of bulk load will show them all the groups in one screen. I mean, by creating a bulk of this groups, they are appearing in one box in the list, or each group will be a specific data dictionary.
Um, each resource, okay, each resource has a specific definition. When we do a create, we
Yes.
want to do a bulk create for all of them.
So the whole groups will be in just one data dictionary, not multiple dictionaries.
No, the groups are defined per instance. So you can like
I
what?
mean that now we can create this group with and that group with different library instance.
Yeah. So yes. So let's say it's this one, right?
Yes,
In each
but
resource definition, okay,
yes,
there's this library instance.
yes. This for the whole
Okay.
group. No, no, this is not the point what I'm asking. I mean, in the data dictionary list, can you go
Yeah.
to the prototype?
You want this list or you want
No,
the
no, the designs.
yeah?
Yes. Can you go back to the list?
Yes.
Yes. As you see, as you mentioned before, that we are filtering them by the library instance, like the ATT and OpenConfig and other types.
Right.
So in case the bulk creation that have multiple groups will be defined as one dictionary in the list, or
Uh,
each group will be defined as a separate dictionary.
when they are created, they are the definition of a group is captured within the instance, right?
This is what I'm asking. The current situation that we are creating only one source for one data dictionary,
Right.
and we are defining this by as you can see the icon before the name. We are defining it by the library instance type.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So we in our case, in our new case, we have multiple creation for multiple library instance. In case we have different library instance for each group, so in the dictionary list, we are separating them or just keeping them together.
And no, you can. We can. All of it is. This is a all view, right? The all view will display everything together, right? If the user selects a specific, group, then you filter that group, and display only those attributes that are associated to that group.
So, but in case of you are saying the group, or I don't know
The
how.
library instance, right?
Yes.
So you display all the attributes for all the libraries, right? And then if the user filters to a specific library instance, then you filter it all attributes that are associated to that library itself.
So in case he click on this attribute, on this library instance, he will see only this library instance, not the other groups.
Right.
Okay. So again, we are creating in one screen multiple groups, but the saving will split them in different lists. I mean, we here in this example we have the mobility, and the other one is the VOIB. So in the lists of the data dictionary, we will see the mobility as a separate box, and the VIP will be a different one.
Yes, there will be two different library instances.
I don't mean the tabs and the filter and the screen. I mean in these boxes.
Which boxes?
I mean the one we have here. Can I get the sharing? So Yuri, I mean we are defining here in this box. We are defining one library instance. Okay.
Yeah, that's AT&T.
Yeah, and in case and the new case we are creating multiple library instances at the same time. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So after creation, the saving will show this creation as in one box, or different boxes for each library instance.
Okay. The creation, this dictionary is an instance attributes. For each instance attribute, it will be tied to one specific group, one
Okay.
specific library instance.
So we are just creating in one step, but we are creating multiple.
Multiple instances of attributes. That's right.
In our cases, we are dropping here two boxes of these. One for the mobility and one for the VOIP.
It's not two boxes. It will be multiple instances. So if I go back to my sample, okay, 1 minute.
Okay.
So in the list, okay, can you see it? Okay, in the list, right? Let's say mobility, right?
Yeah.
I will have now after the creation, I'll have one box, two box, three box. Okay, VoIP will have one, two, three as well. So basically, I created three instances of attributes in the list for mobility, and three instances of attributes in the VoIP. Okay, there.
So in our case, we are having six boxes, six different
Yes.
scenarios.
Six
Okay, I got it. Okay.
attributes.
So this creation is and the grouping just for creating in one step and applying the same properties in one step, but the creation is in the back end will be for different will create
Yes,
different
yes.
dictionary.
It's
Yeah,
instance
I got it.
specific creation.
Okay.
Okay, but they have a common definition, right? That these are templates, right? So we want to expedite the creation. So if you have a DNF that's 1,000 parameters, the user doesn't sit there and do this.
So, but we having one metadata, but with the same name. How can we export them in different dictionaries?
Say
I
that
mean,
again.
I mean the naming.
The names, right? So
Yeah.
when we get the parameter names, this is we're scaling from here, right? So this is the name in this instance one. The name for two will be different, right? In metadata, right? The data type is also going to be part of this import, okay? So we'll know what the data type is. We'll know the description. We can say the description is going to be is coming from the import as well.
No, no,
The
I
only
mean
thing
the naming of. Okay, I got.
the
So
only
the
thing
name is
the
for the
only
attributes
yeah,
onboarded.
all the attribute namings is coming from the model or the import file.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so
The
I
only
just.
thing that we didn't know is the library instance, which we added here, okay? But make sure it's like a drop down.
Mhm.
And if it's required and not required, derived from, we can say, data type or something like that, right? I think we have a definition for derived from. So everything is basically can be predefined, even the
Yeah.
sources, right? The sources, but this will be based on the template. So this
Mhm.
part we have to talk to Ahmed how we can achieve it. Um, and then we drag and drop it and submit it, and that will allow us to do bulk creation.
Mhm.
So Sarah, once you have some sort of mock-up, maybe we can go through this with Ahmed, and I'll explain what I want to achieve from this specific section, and we can
Yes.
see how to achieve it itself.
Yes. Sure.
Any other questions on this portion?
No, no, it's okay.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Did you have anything to share for the work? You want to discuss the workflow next?
The workflow. Yeah, we. You sent me a totally different scenario for the designer.
Yeah, oh, there's it here. Yeah. Do you have anything to share, or do you want me to show
No,
you
no,
what I have?
I just told them tomorrow, today, a few hours
Yeah.
ago.
Okay, good.
So
So this is the updated, right? So today, the main idea is that you'll have a bunch of components, right? Which I don't show here, but let me maybe. Okay, I gotta go back. Okay, here we go. So we have workflows, right? We have functions. So we drop a workflow, then we add a function, right?
yes.
So here, in this case, I drop config assign, okay? I drop these three functions, okay? One function, account execute, and then there's device connectivity, okay? So all of this.
Mm-hmm.
So dropping of that is based on, I called it main step, okay? Or main, or, I don't know, maybe we need to call it something else. But
Okay.
then once you drop it, right, what you see is basically the capabilities and the requirements. I did provide like a definition. What is a capability? What is a requirement? So you can see, for example, component net count execute. It has a requirement, okay? And requirement always binds to a capability, okay? The
Okay, that's
capability
response to
fulfills
push
this
request.
requirement.
Okay.
Okay, so here you can see there's a netcount connection. This is just the name of this requirement, and then it has a capability of netcount. Okay, so if you look here, capabilities netcount, it has it has netcount, right? And then it has all this other stuff, the properties. So basically, the binding that's happening is based on this capability definition and this capability definition here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then it also says like the node BNF netcount device, because when we do enrichment process, if I just drop this component, I will also get this component here. Okay, it happens as part of enrichment. The only thing that we have to do
Can
is
you can you repeat this point?
okay. When I
Are you
drop
talking
this,
about once I'm getting one of the components that's required uh, has a capability for with another node, so the drag and drop will dragging two components once.
yes, I think the enrichment process will return two components. Okay, because if it's only one capability that is listed, then those two components will be provided.
So, but the first is for the requirements, but and followed by the capabilities.
Yes, correct.
So we have. So this is the only case we have.
Right now, this is the only case we have, but what we're building is generic. Okay, so when you drop your requirements, then you're gonna get your nodes that are
That's an
matched.
automatic. That's an automatic action that should happen.
Right now, this is the only case, but it can be expanded to other nodes.
But I mean that once the user drag a component that has a required for another node that has this capability. So once he dragged the first one, the other one should be followed
Yes.
automatically.
Okay. And this could it will happen automatically. Enrichment process will handle that.
Okay.
Okay. You can even have this could be a list. Okay. Right now you see there's one capability defined here, right? I can add another thing called, same thing, right?
We have other capabilities.
Yeah, it can have RESTCOM, for example. Okay.
Okay.
So, and then what happened? But that RESTCOM could be part of the same node of VNF netconf device. Okay. This is a bad name. It should be like VNF device or something like that. It shouldn't say netconf. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that those nodes will be that can support this capability will be returned to you. How do we know which capability to use is based on the user saying this requirement is going to be fulfilled by this node here or by this other node. Okay, because essentially, yeah.
I made the point that uh, these requirements attributes we are filling them after dropping the first node. I mean that we are dragging this node, that the one was, for example, the component not conf executor, that we are dragging this to the action, and we are filling the attributes later. So once we fill the attributes, the other node should be dragged.
No, 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 no. When you
The data we have in here, we don't have. When we are drag we when we adding the component to the action or the workflow.
when you add this component to the action,
Yes.
the enrichment process will return this node right away.
Is that in all cases?
Yes.
So what is the need for the attribute side we have in?
The need for the attribute side is because we need to say how these things are going to be fulfilled. Okay, so there could be like, for example, requirement is one thing, but those things can have inputs, they can have properties. How are those properties going to be fulfilled? And that is defined by the user. So if I go back here.
So the requirement is predefined data?
Yes, yes, yes. So one second. Let me show you.
I hope that this data is by the enter of the user.
No, 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 no. Hold on one second. Yes, this one. You can see here we have requirement. It's predefined, okay? And it could be a list, okay? It could be one or two things. And the enrichment process will return back to you the components, okay? The associated components that it's saying this node is what enrichment process is going to return to you, okay?
And if I remove this node, the other should be removed too automatically.
No, no, no. If you remove, oh, okay. If you remove this node, the other ones will be removed automatically. Yes, I agree.
We will keep it in case another node needs.
Exactly. If
Okay.
there is a need for this capability, then we want to keep that node. If there is no need for that capability, then you can get rid of that node. I
And
agree.
the relationship we are seeing him, this arrow is automatically drawn on the
It's
canvas.
not going to be automatically drawn because you might have, if it's only once, if this is, okay, if this device connectivity only supports that netcom capability, then automatically draw it, okay?
I
If it's,
mean, yeah, I mean, in case we have relationship and for the two between those two these two components, the relationship should be drawn automatically too.
yes, if it's only a single, okay, if it's a single. But what happens if this node has two requirements? Let's say it supports capability of netconf and it also supports the capability of restconf.
So we'll have two arrows and two lines with.
No, no, only you don't want to do 2 hours. You let the user select which requirements he wants to use because for this, there could be only one, you can connect to the device only either by the capability of netconf or restconf, and not both.
So these requirements are optional for only one required to use, not all the requirements.
Yes. So let
Like
me show you one
the
second. Show you one use case we have here. RESTconf. Yes. Show you this one. Definitions, VLB. Let's take a look at this one. Okay. I'm gonna close all of this. Okay, you see netconf device here, VNF connectivity. You see here I define netconf capability and restconf.
okay.
Okay, and then hold on one second. When I go to my netconf device, where is it? NF account collection, I'll close, execute, I'll close,
You are looking for one that has one node that
oh,
has
okay,
multiple
I want
requirements.
execute, yeah, I want execute. Okay, see, in execute, what I'm doing is I want to use the restconf device, restconf capability of node netconf device.
Okay.
Okay, and then this node is returning to me the VNF netconf device with the capability of restconf and netconf. Okay, so because here I have one definition of the requirement, you can automatically do it. But if I have two definitions, right, both restconf and netconf, then the user has to do that relationship.
Sorry, Yuri, can you just search for another template that have multiple requirements? I
I
think
think this is the
because
only, this
why
is
we
the
are
only,
differentiating the scenario. We
for
are
now,
making it automatically, but in the other case, we are making the user do it manually.
it will be something like this. If you have something like this,
Okay.
okay, like this,
Mm-hmm.
there's two requirements here,
Yeah.
for example, right?
So in this
Um,
example, once we adding the NF account collection, the other two nodes should be dragged to. That's what I got so far.
so both of these nodes will be dragged, okay? But the question becomes, do you use netconf or do you use restconf? You can use only one of them to connect to the device, not two.
So from the requirement list we are applying only one requirement, not the whole list.
Let me do this. I'll clarify this from the requirement list. Will it be only always one or will it be two? If it's two, then you don't auto do it. If it's only one, then we can auto build that relationship. let me find out. I'll take that action. Requirement list supports X capabilities such as REST, and okay, I'll find out and I'll get back to you. So for now, let's presume that
They are required the two of them.
for now, let's presume it's going to be like this. Okay. So device connectivity can have REST conf and netconf, but execute will only have one of the requirements. Okay. The only other thing you have to also define the relationship that like if you see any of the Tosca relationship, capability requirement. There's a way they basically use something like this. Shift. So, 1 minute. Yeah, you see here, right here, binds to, links to, those are relationships. So what I'm trying to say is that let's have some image of the relationship, okay? The relationships are defined already, and they're defined here. Let me show you. So you see relationship types. All of these are relationship types. If we can have some sort of image for this type of relationship, that'll be great. Okay, and the image can be whatever Tosca already has. So Tosca already says binds to links. You see how they do this?
Yeah.
And we can do the same.
An indicator for each type of this relationship?
Say it again?
Do you mean that you are asking for an indicator for each type of the relationships?
Yes. Because in here I also have, you see here, I have a relationship of connects to, right?
Yeah.
So it's, I just want to make sure we have an image for this, okay? The only thing is that how you point the arrow is going to be you see the requirement is binded to the capability. So the arrow is always pointing to the capability.
Yes.
Okay. So okay. So the other thing you see each node has a requirement. The other thing I want to say, how do we do we need a legend for the capabilities, right? So this one is like blue. This is for netconf. Maybe green is for restconf. Okay. Purple is something else. Do we need some sort of legend in the UI within
I think we have can we define them? We have requirements, we have capabilities, we have artifacts, we have what other things that are we are going to use in the canvas? We are showing the canvas.
Nodes. Okay. So we have artifacts, nodes, and relationship types.
Like the capabilities and we are having the two types, the only the two types of
here. Yes, these are the two types of. So you have requirements within the component and capabilities within the node. So these are the nodes, right? These are the requirements and capabilities, and then they also have a relationship.
We only have these two types only?
No. It's not just these two types. What I'm trying to say is because let me hold on 1 second. If I go back to the what do you call it? Let's see, where is it? Resource, not contact computer. Okay. You see here, I already have a capability, right?
Yes.
When I drag this component to this panel, I want that capability to be expressed, okay, with some sort of legend and some sort of coloring.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. And those capabilities, they can be added, you know, they can be added. What I'm trying to say, they're probably not static. So, is there a way we can always, express them
I mean,
automatically
do we
using
have
some coloring?
do we have a list, a specific list for this, for these capabilities and requirements?
The thing is, what I'm trying to say should be dynamic. It should not be a static list. Okay?
I mean, the
It shouldn't
creation
be.
of intelligence is in case I have another idea to create maybe like an icon for each type of them, but now you are telling us that these are dynamic, not a
It's not a
predefined.
static list. Yes, 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 yes. So all I want is that if you have two capabilities, then we need to say we need to have a way to color them and give a legend, and that's it.
Okay.
It shouldn't be hard coded.
Mhm.
Okay. So once I drag and drop all my components, you can see that they'll have requirements, capabilities. I put requirements on the right side, capabilities on the left-hand side, and then you can build relationship. And right now, and relationships, we need to do that image, so that we talked about. In some cases, I may not have requirements and capabilities, so you don't need to express them. Okay. So the main idea in the screen is to we added all the components within your action, which is great, okay? The next thing is to add the steps. So any questions on this specific screen?
Theory, please. Now, in the case that the relationship is built automatically, the first case we talked about.
Yes.
So, in that case, we will need the add icon or the creation of the relationship icon in our design.
The user doesn't need to do this relationship, right? This automatically will be done.
I mean, in our design, we adding the add button, the one we have in now, like a plus button. Can you go to the design?
1 minute. Yeah, I'm here. It's here.
These blue buttons, I mean.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we are having this automatic relationship created. So I think we don't need it.
We don't need it if it's one-to-one, okay? The only
in
time
case of having this too, but you are checking this point.
yes, I'll check this
In
point.
case, yeah, in case of this automatic action will be true for multiple requirements. So in that time we need this button.
It's not even a button we need. All we need is the ability to take from this.
Okay?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yuri?
Yep, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Yuri, I'm missing your voice. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Yuri?
Um,
I can hear the typing on the keyboard, but I cannot hear your voice.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear.
Okay, you can hear me now. All right, I don't know. Avoid. All right. So what I was trying to say is that we don't
Did you
need that.
get what I'm saying?
Yes, but what I'm trying to say, we don't need that plus button. The only thing we need is display the requirements and allow
Yuri,
them. Yeah.
Yuri, I still have an issue with your connection.
Okay.
أنا أشتري هذا العبارة أكون اعتبار يعني
Hey, can you hear me now? Sarah? Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yuri?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay, good. All right. So let me share my screen again. So you were saying that the plus button may be needed if we have
Yuri,
multiple. Yep. Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, no, I'm missing it.
You cannot hear me?
I'm losing your voice here.
Maybe from your side, can you try to rejoin? Sarah, can you hear me now?
Yeah?
Do you want to retry?
Yuri?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you try to rejoin your audio? Maybe it's the audio issue on your side. Thank you.
No, I'm speaking from the laptop directly, not with any device.
Right, from the laptop. Can you try to reconnect from the laptop?
I mean, I'm speaking from the laptop speakers.
Yes. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now or? Okay. Should we continue?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. So 1 second. So we were here, right?
Yes.
And basically, the plus is not needed, right? What we need is this requirement, and then the ability to bind the requirement to the capability.
Yeah.
Okay. So the plus, the design of the plus can go away.
This plus won't be needed in that case.
It won't be needed at all. What you need is the requirement and the capability binding.
So as long as it's not just an automatic action, so the user will need it to be here.
Right. Okay. Any other points?
Yuri?
Yeah?
Hello?
I can hear you.
But the connection, yeah. Okay. Yuri?
Yes.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah?
I can,
Yes.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. So the last point that we agreed on is that the plus button is not needed, right? The only thing we need is
exactly.
ability to bind the requirements to the capability.
Yeah.
Even if we support multiple requirements, then even I don't need the plus button, right? I just need the ability to say this requirement is binded to this capability, right?
Yeah. But the one you will check that in case of having multiple requirements, you'll check whether the user will do it manually or just the application will.
Right, and that the user will do it manually, and what he'll do is select that capability and bind it to the to a node that supports that capability.
Did you check that?
I will check it. I'll get back to you.
So
I'll
our
get back.
decision to remove the plus button will be after you check this idea.
I don't think we need the plus button at all. I think the only thing we need is this display here.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll say remove the plus and just go with this model.
Okay.
And then the question on legend. We need legends also for each capability.
Yes.
And maybe you can say that if the user, puts his, here, he can see the node types if color code is not supported initially. But at some point, I think we want a legend with all the color code and capabilities.
Yes.
Okay. So once he does that, right, he also has to define the steps in the workflow. So what I had drawn here is that he clicks on steps, right? And then he sees all the active workflow components he has. So in this case, he has 1, 2, 3, right? And
the one we have in the main screen.
In the main screen, not in the main screen. Within this action, there.
I mean, you are defining them here by main and steps. I mean, the ones in the main tab.
Yes, I got them from the main tab. Correct.
Okay.
Okay, but within this workflow, I have these components, right? So I will see the active list of components, right? And then, so what I'm able to do then is drag the component into the panel, and that automatically, when I drag it initially, right? Let me just show you this.
The first one goes to the start step as a start step.
Yes. So let me show you one thing.
Yes.
Okay. When I drag it initially, okay, it's going to be empty. So it'll be, let's say, that component I drag, right? It's going to be empty. And if it's empty, all that means that it's going to basically have an entry point to this component and end with this component, okay, when you do it initially, okay? Then I drag the second one. The second one is also empty, okay? So the second one doesn't have anything defined as well. So what that means, if it's empty, that means it goes to start and ends with end, okay? So how do I change? What I want to allow the user to do is basically shift from instead of having this thing start goes here, I want to go like this, okay? And that will create my on success. That will say on success, call imperative workflow 2, okay? In this case, on success, I'm calling execute, okay? Since execute doesn't have anything else, it will go, this thing will go away as well, you see? Because what I'm trying to say is because I built on success relationship, this goes away, and what has nothing is execute now. Because here I have on success, but on imperative workflow 2 or execute, I have nothing. So this thing will align to end. Okay? And that's what I'm trying to describe here. 1 second. So you can see I put execute. Both of these have nothing defined, right? There's no on success, not on failure, there's nothing. So all of them, they start and they end. Once I start moving things from on success, then this changes and this definition changes and it goes to end.
Yes.
And then I also, let's say I want to add another component, okay? When I add another component, it also will have nothing, so it will point, everything will start and end will point to here. But let's say I
think
say that
the expected scenario will be that the component X will be one of the two steps from the start point. I mean, it should be the same level as NF account collection until the user changes the scenario.
what do you mean?
I mean, the first scenario that the NF account or the first component that is dragged to the steps canvas will be the starting point of the
Yes.
steps.
Yes.
And once you drag the execute, the first action or the first scenario was to make it one of a new starting point or a new starting component. But once the user changed the scenario to make it a step after the NF account or below or under the NF account, so the component X should have the same scenario of as the execute and the NF account collection too. I mean, it should be as a starting point too.
Yes, but the way they control it is by building these relationships, right? Because if what Tosca supports, let me show you. Imperative. Okay, hold on. Tosca profile.
I mean, you're making a basic scenario that the user is already know in the beginning. So I think we should follow this scenario until then he can change the scenario, the basic scenario.
So here, you see here, like you can do something like this. You let's say you can trigger two components, right? In parallel at start of the workflow.
I mean I mean the dragging action is should follow the same scenario, and the user is the one who is changing the scenario or the step.
Yes, the user is managing it. Correct. So when I initially add it, by default you can start and end because nothing is defined on success. So you can see here, right? When I initially drag it, there is no on success. When it's empty, right? It starts and it ends to that component. When I start, because I drag another one. When I drag another one, it's also empty, right? Nothing is it's not tied to anything.
Yeah. Okay.
As soon as I tie it to, then here on success, then NF account collection changes because NF account collection before we used to end with NF account collection, but now it has on success. That means this relationship is gone and this relationship is built, okay? Because execute has no on success.
Yes.
And then I want to say I drag another component, let's say component X. Initially, it will start and end with the component X, but as soon as I build another on success, it will, end here and end here as well.
So the dragging is following the last steps, not the first steps.
The dragging is following the last step and not the first.
The last step that we have on success case, the execute is a step, is the next step, and the component X should be on the success steps unless the user changes status. It's
right. So I think what are you saying that it's always independent, right? Unless the user binds it to on success or on failure, because we don't know if this is going to be used for successful use case sequence or failure use case sequence. That relationship is built by the user.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but Yeah, okay, I got it.
Okay, so essentially here I show you I added another component, okay? And when I add it, initially it will start here and end here, okay? But as soon as I bind it to, like this is on failure to this component, then, I just have the end relationship. And execute is the end relationship, and component X doesn't have an end, right? Here it had an end in this use case, but as soon as I bind it to on failure, it no longer has an end, and this component will have an end.
So, but let me check this scenario. So before you bind to the failure status, the component that should be added or included in the success status.
No,
Same as
no, don't include it in success. You want to just keep it like this.
this is just totally different of the first scenario.
No, even first is the same. So here I initially added it, right? It has no on success, no on failure. So it starts and ends with it. When I added a new one again, it's binded to nothing. So it starts with it and ends with it. But as soon as I start binding with it, the relationship here changes, right? And here it's the same. So it's the binding that's going to drive, the changes. Right? So here I added another component. If it's not binded, it starts with it and ends with it. As soon as I bind it, then this component X is different, and component
I
Z
mean
ends with it.
before you bind it to this component. I mean before you bind it.
Yeah.
Here we are making a scenario that the last step, the coming component should follow the last step. So if the last step is the start, so all the components should follow this start. Will be the beginning. The
But
start.
we don't know that. We don't know that because I can also say that this is a parallel workflow, right?
But we have to make a scenario, a default scenario, and the user will change it later according to his needs.
So what I'm trying to say, the default scenario is this.
So
it's not binded to anything, and it ends. And
that you made a scenario. You made a scenario in the previous step that the component X is one of the two steps of the NF account.
Right.
The component that should be the same status that it will be a third step of or a third component of uh, of the NF account.
The third component of NF account.
The component that once you drag it to the canvas or to this tab, it will be one of like in the same level as the component X and the execute, and then the user will have to change this scenario.
Yeah, but you're saying it's going to be binded to on success or on failure?
No, it will be on the success status of the FN account collection.
NF account collection like this?
Yeah, this is the basic scenario or the default scenario that will be.
No, I don't want it like this. I'd rather do it from start. Start is better.
So
because
if you
when we drag and drop it initially, right? By default, there is no relationship that's being built. It's always empty, and the user is gonna the user will drive on success or on failure behavior. I don't want us to drive the on success or on failure because it should be a user thing.
Just did that in the component X.
In component X, yes.
Yeah, you follow this scenario.
Right.
So why are you making this different in this case?
Here I drop component Z, right?
Yeah.
And component Z has it's not binded to anything. It's not on success. It's not on failure. Unless there is a way when we drag components, we can say, if I make this grouping here, hold on one second. Group, right?
Okay.
If I go like this, right? Boom, boom, right? If I drop to nothing, then it start and ends. But if I drop it to on success, on failure, then you automatically build that relationship.
Okay.
Right? Would that be better?
Yeah.
I go like this, nothing, then start and end. This, you continue, like that. Let's do that. And that's it.
Okay.
Okay. Can we do the workflow first, the design for the workflow and the requirements first, and then we'll take on data dictionary.
So you wanted the designer first?
Yeah, I want the package
but
to be done.
Now we are having the SDC import in the template and mapping.
Yes.
And the data dictionary.
Yes.
And the designer.
Right.
Okay. So what comes first?
Templates and mappings.
Okay.
And then workflow, and then data dictionary.
Okay. Okay, I got it.
Okay, so I think for today this is good enough. There's some other stuff that we want to talk about, but for today let's end it here because I think these are very critical. And later on we'll take on, the VSL and relationships discussion.
Okay.
Okay, so
this is not in the Frankfurt release.
Let's talk to Ahmed of how we plan it out itself.
Okay.
From a design perspective, do you think this is something we can provide within the next week or so?
I'll try my best, but tomorrow maybe I can give you an estimation.
Can you repeat that? I didn't. There's some noise here.
I will confirm you tomorrow.
Hold on one second. Let me stop the recording.